Well, hello, welcome again to our reading of Homer's Odyssey, Book 2, and I got up to line 257. And so at this stage we've had various speeches from various players, somewhat acrimonious speeches, and we continue on here. Hos a ephonesen lucen de agorain ipseran. Hoimen ar skidnanto pros doma hekastos, menesteres des domat isan theou Odysseos. Telemachos daponyuthikeion epithena thalases, keras nipsamenos polies halos euket Athene. So thus he spoke, and so he dismissed. This is from Luo. It's an aorist without augment. The adjective here is ipsere. This is a funny adjective here. It's feminine agreeing. It is an adjective agreeing with agoran. So he dismissed the gathering, quick to disperse. So we might just translate this perhaps as almost as an adverb here. So he dismissed the assembly with haste. It's literally he dismissed the assembly which was quick to disperse. Hoi men, and then we get the de here. So they, accordingly, for the arrow, if you're going to translate it at all. This is from skidnamai, or some sort of ending in this one. This is an aorist middle here. It means to scatter. So they then scattered, they accordingly scattered, castos, each to, now this is that personal adjective again, it's a neuter plural agreeing with the domata. So they scattered to their houses, each one, literally. So we would say they accordingly scattered each to his own house, even though it's plural here. Menesteres, but the suitors, they went into the hall, into the houses, the domata, of godlike Odysseus, of divine Odysseus, to continue on to eat him out of house and home. Telemachos de, but Telemachos, Keon, this is a participle from little verb keo, another one of these verbs meaning to go. So he going ap anuthe, apart or away. Epithena, this is accusative from this. Thenos, it means the shore. So Telemachus, having gone away to the shore thalases of the sea. Nipsamenos, this is an aorist middle participle from niptomai. Niptomai is the verb to wash. We get lots of roots from this in later Greek. So having washed his hands, and then we get a genitive here, having washed them in what? In the grey salt water. Polios is often used at the sea. It has a sense of grey or greenish grey. Halos, genitive from hals, which is the word for salt, but it's often simply used for the sea, or the salt sea if you want to get the hals root. In fact, our word salt, sal, is coming from this same root. So having washed his hands in the hoary or the grey sea, euketo, it's an imperfect middle from euchomai, he began to pray to Athena. He says in his prayer, Kluthimoi hox kthisdos theos, eleuthes hemeteron do, kai men nei kelusas, ep a roedia ponton, noston pusomenon patras dein oikomenoio, orchestai, tadapanta dia tribus in achaioi, menesteres demalista cacos huper enoriontes. One of the usual ways of beginning a prayer, kluthi moi, This is an imperative from Kluo. This is often the beginnings of prayers in Greek. So hear me, you the god, well she is a goddess in fact, you the god who, Kthisdos is yesterday, Eleuthes, this is an Aeolic form for Aelthon, quite useful for terms of syllables in the meter. So you the god who yesterday came to Hemeteron Do, to our house. Do is a shortened form for Doma, so to our house, again a useful little word, and having given orders to me, having bid me. Now the infinitive is actually several lines down, it's delayed down here. So having bid me to go in a ship upon the sea, which is, well, probably something like misty, on the airy sea, the misty sea. It's got that air root here in the aid, with misty appearance. Pusomenon, future participle, again from pum thanamai, so being with the intention of perceiving or finding out about the noston, the return journey of my father, the one who has gone, so genitive agreeing with patros, the one having departed or being gone, dein, for a long time. So, just to quickly recap that, so hear me, O goddess, you who appeared to me yesterday in our house, having bid me to go in a ship on the misty sea, with the intention of finding out about the return journey of my father who's been gone for such a long time. Tadipanta. Now the subject here is Achaioi. The Achaeans, diatribo has a range of meanings. It can mean to delay, which is probably what it is here. They are delaying me, and then in respect of all these things. So I think it's just an internal accusative here. So they are delaying me in respect of all these things. Mesteres de malasta, but especially the suitors. And we get this very powerful, it's actually an adjective, I think. It's from huper enoreon, which meaning exceedingly, that's the huper, and exceedingly, well originally manly, it's got that anor root here, but it has the sense of overbearing. So exceedingly overbearing, and then the kakos probably, in sense, goes with the verb. It's an adverb. So they've been delaying me. The Achaeans have been delaying me all these things, and especially the suitors, these exceedingly overbearing ones, well, are delaying me, kakos, badly. Hos Ephat eukomenos, skedothen, dehoi aelthen Athene, mentori edomene, amendemus aedi kai audein, kai min phonosas epia pteroenta pros euda. I'll just do that little bit there. And thus he spoke, praying, participle, and Athena came to him, that's that hoi for auto, skedothen, from nearby. So she came to him from nearby. A domina, appearing, so, or rather, having made herself to look like mentor, so appearing as mentor, and we get ad and amen and ade, both in body and in voice. So likened to, it's often translated as, so likened, having likened herself to, make it middle, having likened herself to mentor both in body and in voice, and having spoken to him, or having spoken, she addressed him, min for auton, with epia ptoirenta, with winged words. A stock phrase in Homer. And she then says to him, Telemach oud opithen kakos esei oudi anoemon, ede toi supatros en staktai menos eu. Hoios kenos ein telesai ergon te epos te, toi epeth halie hodos esetai oud a telestos. E ducenu gesigonos kai Penelopeas se gepeta I olpa telutesen ha menuinas. So, O Telemachos, now this is the person singular from SMI, it's the future from Amy. And opithen, well, opithen when used of time means in the future or hereafter in Homer. So neither will you be hereafter or in the future kakos, well, a bad man, or it could be a coward. Kakos can often have that sense of cowardliness. Nor a noemon. So this is alpha privative plus noemon, so without sense. So you will not be a bad man or a coward in the future, nor a man without sense. If indeed the subject here is menos eu, this is a neuter noun, so this is a neuter adject from eus, which means noble. So if indeed the noble strength of your father, Enestaktai is from enstasdo. If you're looking it up, enstasdo is the verb. Stasdo is to drip. We get our word, we get words in stacked, to do with dripping and so on. So this here means infused or instilled. And this is a perfect passive here from enstasdo. So unless indeed, if indeed the noble strength of your father has been instilled toi in you. Hoios kanos, for he alone was, I think we have to say was able, telesai, to complete a work and a word, a deed and a word, so both deed and word. For that man alone was able to bring to completion both work and both deed and word. Utoi epate, not then will, this is esetai, from Amy again, the hodos is journey, so in that case your journey will not be for you then halie, this is an adjective, it's feminine because hodos is a feminine noun. Halie is in vain or fruitless. And atelestos is a two-termination adjective, so it is agreeing with hodos, which is feminine, but it uses the os ending because it's two-termination, because it's got two parts to it, the alpha privative and the telestos, unfulfilled. So just to do that bit quickly then. So, O Telemachos, you will not be in the future a coward or a bad man, nor one without sense, if indeed the noble strength of your father has been instilled in you. For he was such a no, not alone here, I think it's hoios for such, now that I think about it again. For he was such a man as to complete. For he was such a man as to complete both deed and word. Is more literal to the Greek here. So it's hoios, not oios here. I can see the act of breathing. So he was such a man as to telesai infinitive, to complete both deed and word, nor then nor thereafter will this journey be in vain, nor unfulfilled toy for you. A de ukenu gesi, so but if esi for, well, es in later Greek, this is the second person singular from Amy in Homeric Greek. So if you are in fact not, very important ge here, the offspring of that man and of Penelope, so if you're not really the child of him, of Odysseus and Penelope, then the sense here is, so if you're not that, then I do not expect then you, telutesein, to bring to, that you will bring to completion the things which you desire. This is from menoinao, which we've had before. So if you are not of the race of that man and Penelope, if you're not the offspring, the gonos, then I do not expect then, this is perfect from elpamai, or elpo, there is an elpo, I think, elpamai, this is eolpa. It's a perfect in form here, but I think it's just a present in sense. So I do not then expect hereafter that you will bring to completion, a future infinitive here, the things which menoinas, the things which you desire. So it's interesting that you do get this all the way through the Odyssey. There's Telemachos is often wondering whether he really is the son of Odysseus at various points. We know that he is, but he often has a lot of doubts about himself. Paroi ga toi paides homoioi patri pelontai, hoi pleonos kakios, paroi de patros areus. Notice all the pies here, we get some nice alliteration here. Al epe ud opithen kakos esei udi anoemon, udi se panku gemetis odysseos pro leloipen, el pore toi epeta telutesai tadi erga. So, now the toi, you often get toi in Greek, and this is also true in drama. You get toi used with a variety of meanings. You often get it used in generalized or nomic statements or generalizations, and that's what we have here. And you can't translate it, but you should note it. So for few children, pelontai is just from pelamai, which often just means same as the verb to be, but you might press it a little bit here. So for few children are by nature like to their father. So turn out to be homoio, like to their father. Hoi pleones kakius, many of them, the majority of them, kakius is comparative, are worse. Paroi te patros, and few of them are areus, again comparative, better, and then we get a genitive comparison, so better than their father. You could take the toi as indeed if you wanted to translate it here, but it's often used in these nomic statements. So for few children indeed turn out to be like to their father, the majority worse, but few better than their father. Epe, but, and he repeats this line again, this was a few lines earlier, but since you will not be in the future kakos, a bad or cowardly man, nor one without sense, nor has the metis Odysseus, the cunning or the cleverness of Odysseus, nor has the cleverness of Odysseus. Now the verb here is proleloipen, it's from prolapo. This is perfect here, from prolapo, in the sense of leave behind, so hence desert. So the cleverness of Odysseus has not deserted you, Panku, in any way, get at all. The get just emphasizes the Panku. So for in no way at all has the cleverness of Odysseus deserted you. El pore toi epeta tell you that. So there is hope then for you, Teleutasai, to bring to completion tardi erga, these works. And that is the first part of the advice of Athena.